Welcome into another episode of the Armchair Titans podcast. Austin Nelson here with you, with also my guys, Brett Batchelor, Noah McKay, Trey Watkins. Our guy Elijah cannot be with us tonight because he is a now proud daddy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He's a father now, so I think a little Marcus Mariota is what is named it.
Yep.
So we'll have to check back with him in a few weeks, but I know he hates that he missed it. This broadcast is brought to you by Armchair All-Americans and armchairallamericans.com. Make sure you go on there and check out your all localized sports coverage. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Armchair Titan Up. Like us on Facebook, Armchair Tennessee Titans. And then also, ever since I started the podcast, or we started the podcast, people have been asking me, I bet sports gamble. Shh, don't tell my mom that. But, yes, I do sports gamble. But usually it's what team I bet on this week, and college, baseball, basketball, football, I do all of it. But the truth is I never know. I have no idea who's going to win. But if you think you know who's going to win, make sure you got to check out my bookie. It's my bookie. Remember, who you're betting on is just as important as who you're betting with. That's why I always tell people to bet with my bookie. Trust me, guys. They are your best bet this season. They've been in business for years, have great reviews online, and their mobile site is very easy to use. I have it on my phone. I would only recommend this service to listeners that's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you to pay. Make your way to my bookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for you fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. That's kind of unique. So if Marcus Mariota is at 18, you're definitely taking the under on that. But, yeah, again, join now, and my bookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. So what I mean by that is if you put in $100, they will literally give you $100 free dollars. So it's kind of awesome. But make sure you use the promo code Titans to activate that offer. So visit MyBookie online today. That's MYBOOKIE. And don't forget to use the promo code Titans. You play, you win, you get paid. So without further ado, what's up, my guys? How we doing?
What's going on, boys? How we doing tonight?
I am feeling good. It is game
week.
Let's go. All right.
Listen, we had a huge, I would say there's a huge season last season, but the Titans made the playoffs, so we were very, very hype about that. Has not happened to us as fans in a long time, so it was great to see that. Then they go and get a playoff win, and that just makes everybody happier. Now there's a real buzz about the Titans. You go and face the defending champions and the Patriots and Foxborough. We all knew what the outcome would likely be, but we still had hope. It didn't work out as planned. So you're back 2018. You go and get Rashawn Evans. You go and get Harold Landry, who was a first-round pick. You go and get a new head coach. You fire the idiots that we had in the past.
Yes, goodbye, Biscuits.
You go and get an offensive genius in Matt LaFleur. You upgrade everybody, the team, the roster. Malcolm Butler's on the outside now. You go and get who am I missing, guys? Deion Lewis. I mean, the team is ready to rock and roll. It's September 4th. Game week's here, guys. It is what we talk about. It's what we live for. We breathe for. It's what we do because the Titans are playing football in just a couple days.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you, I'm really more excited for Monday when I get to turn on the TV and see Colin Cowherd's stupid face when he has to put about the beatdown that the Titans just laid on the Dolphins. I want to see all these people who are projecting 9-7, 7-9, 6-10. Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see. Yeah, you're going to get to see all the new toys and the new coaching staff that John Robinson has put in place this offseason and see what they do on a real football field in a real game. And I am –
Coward's just going to take a snippet of one Mariota incompletion and put him up on this little video screen. This is why Mariota sucks.
Hey, Trey, I'll say this, man. You sound a lot better now that you have a laptop.
Thank God.
Appreciate it, man.
So, man, it's just it's so exciting that it's finally here. I think the Titans got a little lucky with their first opponent, in my opinion. Because if you look at the teams around the league, they have some tough games. And I will say the Dolphins are kind of one of the echelon teams in the league, bottom tier. But you still have to watch out for them because it's week 1. They don't know what to expect. The Titans don't know what to expect. So it's kind of a pick 'em, I feel like, in a way. And on some websites like MyBookie, it may be a pick 'em. I've seen it as -2.5, -3.
Wrong.
So, yeah.
Wrong.
Brett, what do you want to see from the Titans? Just the first game, I think we're all expecting big numbers, a lot of good things, but realistically, what do you expect from the Titans on Sunday?
I am if I was a head coach in the NFL, a lot of people want to kick the ball off first. Give me the football first, and it's especially in this case because you got Dion, you got Marcus, you got Derek back there. Take the ball first, take it right down the field, and put up 7 like it's nothing, and then just control the rest of the game. And I know a lot of times we say the Titans will play down to their opponents and stuff like that. It's just something that you hope is different with this coaching staff. So the thing I want to see is the Titans score first and then just control the game. Not like last year when we played against Cincinnati and we kind of controlled it and then lost at the end, had to come back. Same thing against Baltimore. Score early and then control the rest of the game and just make it a nice, smooth, easy win with nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I want to see a total and complete beatdown. The Titans are better than the Dolphins, at least theoretically. They have more talent on both sides of the ball, and it's not very close. This can't be one of these games, like the Cleveland game last year where it's neck and neck to the end when you're playing down to your opponent, like you mentioned. It's like, no, that can't happen anymore. This is really a new era, right? Like everyone keeps saying, right? We've gotten rid of the old culture that was just mediocre at best, and now you're supposed to have the so-called Patriot way where excellence is expected. You got to go into Miami and just beat them down. Beat the team that's not as good as you so that you give yourself momentum going into our hard part of the season, starting immediately after in week 2.
And what I'm really looking for is I know a lot of the fans want to see how this offense, functions with the new modern look. But I'm looking at this defense, and this defense has a lot of injuries right now. Derek Morgan's out. Rashaan Evans, who I don't know if he was slated to start, but slated to get a good bit of snaps. He's out. So I want to see if this defense will have its feet on the ground and be ready to go as soon as the whistle starts.
Yeah, I don't know if Evans will be ready for Sunday.
No.
I don't know.
My guess would be that he's not playing.
Unless he can get some treatment before Sunday, before they head out to Miami Saturday. I don't know if he'll play. And before we came on, I looked, and I think Morgan will be a game time decision. But the good thing about – I'm with you, though, Trey. I think we all know what the offense can do. I think we've talked about that enough. It's the defense now with your top couple pass rushers gone. But you did sign preseason phenom Sharif Finch. So he'll get a lot of good looks on Sunday, as well as Correa, the new pickup from the trade from Baltimore. So he's going to get a lot of good looks now, and he's going to play more linebacker, not rush specifically, but in different packages. I'm sure they'll have him up the middle. But you still got Casey. You got surprisingly Austin Johnson starting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was surprised about, but you still got Benny Logan and Daquan Jones is back, which I'm
Daquan Jones.
hype about him.
The big one.
He was having a great season last year before he went down.
Absolutely.
If he can pick up where he left off, that is a real underrated piece of that defense.
It really is. And then with the Austin Johnson thing, I remember I believe he's that first, second round pick that John Robinson had from that haul he got from the Rams.
Second one. It was Kevin Dodd first.
Who was?
Kevin Dodd.
Okay. Ooh, goodness gracious. Don't even start But he was, and some people had a little bit of questions because I remember some guys saying he was a little bit raw. He had to develop a little bit, but I believe it's his third year. He's put his head down. He's worked his tail off, and you can see it when he plays. He's a nosy guy against the run, still developing as a pass rusher, but he's worked his tail off, and he's rewarded with all those snaps now.
So let's flip it. The Dolphins come in here. Quarterback's back. Ryan, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Tannehill's back, coming off the ACL injury. I think he tore that in training camp of last year, so he's had a full year to come back strong. So he's there's no more Jay Cutler in Miami. The Titans lost to the Jay Cutler Dolphins last season
With Matt Castle.
That was a joke.
Castle. So there's an asterisk beside that game. But what do you guys expecting from the Dolphins on Sunday? I mean, what are we going to see from them?
Dude, to be quite honest with you, not a whole lot.
Yep.
I think that they're going to play more of a boring style of football, if that makes sense. They got Devontae Parker and they got Kenny Stills, but
A lot of 3-and-outs.
a lot of something, or they move it for a couple minutes and then it's done because they traded away J.J. And I know they got Cameron Wake on defense, but literally, other than those 4 players, they don't have a whole lot. So that's why I say that I'm looking forward to just the Titans controlling this game, because it's a game where, like Noah said, when you compare these rosters, it shouldn't even be a game in the first place.
Yeah, and they have Kenyon Drake in the backfield, but I am not complete non-believer in Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
and then
I've passed on Kenyon Drake in every single game.
Yeah, same here. And then they bring in Frank Gore, and they have that rookie who I can't remember his name, it's slipping me, but he's probably not going to play very much. But Frank Gore is they're both listed as starters on their depth chart, so they got a confusing backfield, and it's just a bunch of inconsistent guys. Like Devontae Parker, that's your number 1 wide receiver. I mean, okay. Gesicki now at tight end. I mean, that's interesting. But this is a team that the Titans secondary should have no trouble containing the Dolphins passing offense. You know, Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan, Adoree Jackson, Kevin Byard, Kenny Vaccaro. I mean, that's a clear advantage.
It should almost be like a tune-up game before Houston week 2.
Literally.
Yeah. It's kind of like and it's scary to say that because then they walk in and get beat. You know, but that's what our job to start talking about that, and not the players to be talking about that. The players just got to go in and whip them up. But this is one of those where you can finally fully install the offense, which is huge. Which clearly they didn't do when Miami signed Luke Falk because they thought they were slick and going to get inside information. Vrabel says, yeah, okay. No, you're not, because Matt LaFleur saw that coming. So you finally get to install this new offense, and there's going to be – I don't expect it to be flawless from the Titans offense by any stretch of the imagination, but it helps talking about the Dolphins, the defense you're going up against, because it's outside of Cameron Wake and Minka Fitzpatrick, who's, you know, a rookie and starting cornerback 1, there's not much there. I mean, the Titans should have it's a really good opportunity to tune up before you get into Houston, Jacksonville, and Philly.
Yeah, the Titans should have absolutely no problem with this Dolphins offense. Now, I don't want to say any stupid, stuff here, just to, come back to bite me if we get beat, which I don't want to happen. But that Frank Gore is the only guy on that offense who gives me some worry, because every single time Frank Gore plays the Titans, he usually gets around. He has, a pretty decent game. And over on that defense, that secondary, it's incomplete. Linebackers,
Bobby McCain, Rashad Jones, T.J. McDonald, Xavier Howard.
Yeah, Rashad Jones, Pro Bowler, but other than that,
but as of now, they got him as a 2. He's a backup.
Who?
Minka Fitzpatrick, which is surprising. And this is ourlands.com, so how accurate? This is updated a couple hours ago.
Okay, well, other than that, the linebackers are slow. The only guy on that defensive line that should scare anybody is Cameron Wake. So the Titans should have no problem putting up points, stopping the Dolphins' offense. They do have problems with that, then we're going to have a lot of questions, and I'm going to be a little worried heading into week 2.
And this is Mike Vrabel's debut as a head coach. Everybody, his whole staff, they want to make a good first impression on the team, Titans fans, organization. So I think they're going to come out there on their P's and Q's and do as best as possible not to mess up anything, and just go out there and execute. So we can we'll do predictions in a minute, but I think we're all going to go the same way here. Let's talk about who's playing, who's not playing on Sunday, who we think who's playing. So Corey Davis, healthy. We don't have to worry about that.
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis, I like that. Yeah. Rashard Matthews, activated off PUP. He's back. He'll play on Sunday.
Hey, I got to real quick on him. over under 5 times. Actually, no, over under 10 times you hear that Rashard Matthews was a former Dolphin
Under.
on the broadcast.
Under.
Under? I got over.
Yeah.
Under because he's an underrated receiver.
Yeah.
Every time he gets a catch, they're going to say it. Former Dolphin, Rashard
Yeah, I
Matthews.
can hear that, but under. He won't
Yeah,
have
but
that.
Rashard's not going to have more than 10 catches.
He won't have 10 catches. Exactly.
Now, how about the over-under? How many times you hear them say, Rashard Matthews isn't the fastest, but he has a knack of getting over. How many times? Over-under.
That sounds like something off Madden.
Yeah.
So Rashard Matthews back. Jack Conklin is activated, but I don't know, like we talked about, I don't know if he'll play. It's more of a Dennis Kelly thing week 1. You'll have him back for week 2 in Houston or against Houston. So defense, Harold Landry will not play. Brian Orakpo will be back. I still think it's a game time decision on
Rashawn Evans.
Derek
Morgan.
And Derek Morgan, especially Morgan. I just don't see Rashawn playing week 1.
No.
At all. I don't think he's ready yet. And which don't rush it.
But here's the thing. If he's not hurt, I think he plays.
I think he's hurt.
I'm saying at this point, like if he's recovered and it's like he's still learning the defense because he didn't have any preseason time.
That's true. But I think he's been
put him in
out of meetings. I think he's seen enough game film where he knows what he's doing when he's out there. I just think is he in game shape? Has he hit somebody in a while?
Yeah, that's a good. Well, but do you want the first people he hits to be the Texans or the Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
Exactly. I'm saying if he's healthy,
I don't think it matters. It's the NFL. Who gives who he's hitting?
I'm just ready to see when the injury report finally comes out, so we can see what Vrabel has.
They're not gonna say anything. They're gonna say the bare minimum. It's gonna be the exact.
It's gonna say questionable for every single player.
More than hockey does.
It's got. I agree with Trey. It's gonna say questionable. No,
at all. Nothing.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about like when it says out. Do you think that? I mean, does it say hamstring? Does it say knee? Does it say concussion? Because it's not hockey. You can't just say, "Hey, 3 weeks lower body injury," and you have no idea.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah,
We'll see.
Because
I don't think, and if he does do some shady stuff, I can see him like changing it up week after week. So you might see knee, and then the week after you'll put, he would nothing. He won't say anything. So they'll be like that the entire season. I feel like, which is it's just frustrating, but we'll find out one way or the other.
Or they'll over-report everything to mask. Like Tom Brady's always on the injury report in New England.
Yeah, right.
And so you don't know which one's actually hurt, which one's just
playing on Sunday every week.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
All right, let's do this real quick. We in our last little bit, we will again follow us on Twitter at Armchair Tighten Up, and like us on Facebook. We're trying to use that a lot more now. Armchair Tennessee Titans. Game predictions, and I'm talking. Let's just go not game by game. We've done that already with Matt Neely. But what do you think? And you'll stick by this the entire year. What the Titans go record-wise? So you'll tell all your buddies, I had the Titans going this on the Armchair Titans podcast. I'll start real quick. I think I've said this for a couple weeks now. I think the schedule is somewhat favorable. On paper, it's the second easiest, but I don't think it's the second easiest because these teams, it's based off last year. And there's a lot of teams on this year's schedule that have gotten better. Towards the bottom of the schedule is what I'm really referring to, the Redskins, the Giants, teams like that. So I'm going to go 11-5. And the reason I go 11-5 is because if the Titans want to win the division, and that's, I think, goal number 1 for them this year, you have to protect your division to do anything in the playoffs. You want that home playoff game, which you have not gotten since 2008. So you have to beat the teams inside the division. To do that, if they go 4-2 or 5-1 in the division, it's a win. Mm-hmm. But you have to start beating the Texans. You have to beat them once a year. You have to beat the Jags once a year.
I have to sweep the Colts again.
They haven't. Yeah, you have to beat the teams you need to beat week after week. Mm-hmm. Now I know you might have a bad game here and there, but good teams find ways to win bad games.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that is something they have to start doing because in years past, the Titans have not been good at that. The Titans are better than the bad team they're playing, but the Titans are still a bad team, and they'll find ways to lose bad games. So it's just it's so frustrating because we know that the Titans now this 2018 team can beat anybody. They can play with anybody. They can beat anybody. So I'm going 11-5. I don't know who they beat. I don't really crap who they beat. It's just the fact that I want to see them go 11-5, and I want a home playoff game.
Amen.
That's it.
Are we gonna do predictions for Sunday's game too? What you got?
Yeah, let's go. At the very end.
Okay.
Brett, go.
We were talking about earlier. You draft Rashawn Evans. You draft Harold Landry. You bring in Malcolm Butler. You bring in Dion Lewis. You draft Dan Cruikshank. You bring in Matt LaFleur. Everything's pointing up. But like you said, Austin, good teams find ways to win games. Bad teams find a way to lose games. Mike Vrabel's a first-year head coach. I'm still in the middle. I still am. Look, don't get me wrong. I love this roster. I like the hire. But it's a first-year staff. So that's why, as of now at least, I'm going no more. And I may not be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going no more than 10-6.
Ooh.
No more.
No more.
Look, I could see another 9-7 season just because of the staff. Because, look, you can split with Houston. You can split with Jacksonville. You play Philly. You play New England. You play the Giants, who are better. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. I'm just going with 10-6 just because of the injuries that have happened so far. You don't know who's out for how long. And the first-year staff. That's just being skeptical. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. But since we have to give a final number, and I just don't want to do the same thing as last year when the Titans went 9-7, I'll just finish at 10-6. Just because I'm skeptical of what might happen in a first-year staff. You have been scarred, my friend.
No, I mean, listen. If I would have said 10-6 and gave my exact same reason, I think you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
10-6, 9-7, 11-5. I think the Titans are in that range. Now, I don't see them winning the division at 8-8.
No.
Doing anything with 7-9. So you have to be at that 9-7 and above.
That's why I'm saying. I think 9-7 is still in the range of what might happen this year.
But if you want to do that though, if you want to be 9-7 and above, you have to beat the Eagles. You got to beat the Patriots. You got to beat the Titans.
That's my thing. Is like you were saying, the Titans have to start beating these teams. And the reason I'm so skeptical about it is because the Titans have yet to beat these teams. So before I can say that the Titans are going to sit here and go 12-4 and stuff like that, they have to beat teams like New England and Philadelphia first before I can start saying, hey, the Titans are going to take this thing all the way.
Yeah. If I was to pick any number or any record out of a bowl, no, that's a bad analogy.
What are you talking about?
What is happening right now?
That's an awful analogy. Let's just keep it simple, man.
Give us your record.
Keep it simple. I'm gonna say 10-6.
Okay.
Because I see 2 losses coming from weeks 1 through 4. Mm-hmm. I see losses against Jacksonville and I see losses against Philly. And only because, like you said, it's a brand new staff.
Right.
And we just haven't been able to beat teams like that
exactly
over the last couple of years. So, like you said,
besides Jacksonville, because the Titans know how to beat Jacksonville.
Well, yes, true, yes, but I don't expect the Titans to sweep the Jags this year.
I think the Titans are more likely to lose to the Texans than Jacksonville.
I completely agree.
Okay, yes, I could agree with that too. Just because I could agree with that, but I see a couple more losses coming on those Monday night games, especially the Monday night game against Dallas.
Nope.
Because, look, I know a lot of us hate the Cowboys, but you don't know what you're going to get with the Cowboys, especially this year. I can't decide on that game at all. It's a toss-up.
I don't have any problem with the Cowboys. I have a much bigger problem with hate-wise to the other team in Texas.
Of course.
Same.
And yeah, speaking of Texas, that Monday night game in Houston. So I don't know. I just see 10-6, and plus Andrew Luck's coming back. You're not going to sweep Andrew Luck.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That team is so bad.
Listen,
Titans haven't beaten Luck ever.
I don't care.
Yeah, sure.
They hadn't won till last year either, and then they swept the Colts last year. They hadn't beat the Colts. Period.
Hey, look, we're talking about these games that the Titans have not won. They haven't beat the Philadelphias. They haven't beat the New Englands. They beat the Colts finally on Monday night last year, but it was last year's Colts in a primetime game that honestly nobody paid attention to. If the Titans are going to want to put their name on the map, this has to be the year because you have the defending Super Bowl champions at home, week 4. You have New England, who's been in the Super Bowl the past 2 years. You have 3 primetime games, 2 on Monday night, 1 at home. Those are 5 huge games that the Titans normally wouldn't get. So if you want to put yourself on the map, this has to be the year.
Yep.
Exactly.
So yesterday I went through on playoffpredictors.com and picked every game in the entire NFL all season, all the way to the Super Bowl. And I tried to do it unbiased, just straight up who I think is going to win each game, and went through it. And I'm going to sound like a huge homer here.
Yeah.
They're not going 16-0, first of all. But honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to the records as I went along, and I got to the end, and this is my prediction. The Titans are going to go 12-4 and win the AFC. Not in the playoffs, but they're going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC going into the playoffs. That's what I broke it down to.
That's one.
Now, I had the Titans and when I went through all the way to the end of the playoffs. I had them losing the AFC Championship game to Pittsburgh, and they got a favorable draw playing Los Angeles in the first round in the divisional round.
Woo, that's not favorable.
I disagree. We've talked about this before. You go listen to that Matt Neely episode. The Chargers are okay, but they're overhyped. Because the Chargers are going to charge her, and they just can't get it done eventually. But
yeah, you're right.
So at some point, they're not going to be the same old Titans. I mean, at some point. It could be 50 years from now, but I just went ahead and said it's going to be this year. And but I like this team a lot. I think they're really talented. And then I also think the AFC North is going to be difficult. I think the Ravens are underrated, and the Steelers are overrated, especially if Le'Veon Bell doesn't come back, which I think eventually he will. But that's going to be a dogfight, so they're going to be taking games away from each other, especially considering the Browns are good now. The Patriots are just the Patriots, and then the AFC West, who knows what's going on out there. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the Titans to capture a high seed going into the playoffs. But I certainly can see 9-7 would be a big disappointment, quite frankly. Unless, barring injury or anything like that. But this team needs to have double-digit wins, in my opinion, this season.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The Titans need to take the jump, which we could say they already have, but like how the Rams did last season, and they went from a nobody to 11-5, I think.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the coaching staff, because Brett, you were talking about how it's a new coaching staff, which is true. But in today's NFL, these players have been playing in these pro systems. Like, for example, Derrick Henry at Alabama played a very similar system with the outside zone runs that he's going to be running with Matt LaFleur. So they're familiar with all these offensive schemes. It's not as hard when you're familiar with what's going on to implement a new system. Now, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but when you have talented players like they do, and the system is built to allow them to succeed, it's easier to fall into that system than if they're going into a system that they don't mesh with well. And theoretically, they should mesh with this system. That was the whole point of it.
I agree.
11-5.
10-6.
10-6.
12-4.
So,
but I'm still I'll go 10-6.
I'm a bit optimistic though.
Noah will look like the idiot here then.
Wow, it will not be the first time.
If we're wrong, you got the highest record, so
I'll be wrong. I mean, without a doubt, I'll be wrong. But
if 12-4 happens, is Mike Vrabel the coach of the year?
Yeah.
Please. That's it's easy to say.
Let me put it this way: if the Titans are 12-4, Marcus Mariota may be the MVP. Honestly.
Maybe
if they're 12-4,
yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
He may be the MVP of the league.
We got to see the record the Saints are and the Packers are.
He'll be in the discussion without a doubt.
Sure, we'll see though. That's way too early to be talking about that crap. we know how Marcus Mariota is right now, guys.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing about this season. Real quick, is literally the swing that we have, the gap. At the end of the season, we could be talking about drafting a new quarterback, or we could talk about having a Super Bowl contender. And neither one of them are just so beyond the realm of possibility, which is terrifying as a fan and somebody trying to analyze it.
I don't think we talk about drafting a new quarterback if he does bad until after his fifth-year option.
I think if the Titans go like 4-12 this year, you talk about, and you have a top 10 pick. If you have a top 10 pick, you're talking about taking a quarterback. If he did, Austin.
I'm with you. I'm just thinking,
it's crazy.
4-12.
It's crazy.
Podcast,
but it's crazy because it's like if he doesn't take the next step, it could happen.
I might lose my mind if we go 4-12.
None of us think it's gonna happen.
Get me out of this misery.
What if we're wrong? You know, we're gonna find out on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm just
What if
saying,
we're all
I've
just
been
dead
used
wrong?
to so many crap years for this team. I've seen Titans fans do what Browns fans do. I've seen Titans fans put paper bags over their heads.
I went
I've
to every
seen-
game the 2-14 season.
Yeah, I was there too. I was there for every single one.
Oh my gosh!
I don't think it's gonna happen. Like I said, I just predicted them to go 12-4.
Dude,
There's
this-
too much
It's
talent on this team to
awful.
even think about 4-12, bro.
All right,
Because,
so
you know,
we know they're not going 4-12. We think they're going 16-0. But let's see one. Do they go 1-0? Let's go. Just give you a quick prediction. I will go Titans 34.
Holy cow!
They put up numbers on Sunday. Okay, 34-13.
Ooh.
Nice.
You know, I'm gonna go because I think Rashawn Evans is out. Harold Landry will be out. Derek Morgan will be out. Jack Conklin will be out. I'm going Titans 26, Miami 15. Just something different, just for the heck of it.
Such weird numbers.
we have safeties in this game.
Just something weird for the heck of it, like Chris Berman's old stuff.
Titans 23, Dolphins 9.
That's fair.
Okay.
Titans win 31-17 with a garbage time touchdown. by the
I
Dolphins.
like the 30 numbers. I want to see LaFleur bust it open on Sunday. Give me some. I want to see it. Listen. All right, bold prediction. We got to do the bold prediction. We haven't done that. All right. I said every game last year that Adoree Jackson would score a touchdown, a kick return.
Mhm.
Bold prediction on Sunday. Deion Lewis scores 2 touchdowns.
Ooh,
Ooh, I like it.
Bold prediction.
Okay.
I got it.
I put you on the spot here.
I got this. Marcus Mariota's first 400-yard passing game.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
That's the boldest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, and by the way,
Wow.
Corey Davis is first regular season touchdown. Throw that one in there.
I've never had 400 yards on Madden with Marcus.
There it is. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be the weirdest 400-yard game ever because it's gonna be 50% off of screens.
Bro, Noah comes winging tonight, man. Jeez.
Hot Take City. I'm psyched up about week 1. If you can't tell,
go ahead,
400
Trey.
yards.
Starts in 2 days, man. It wouldn't be. Bold prediction. Now, I'm thinking back to the Colts game a couple years ago. I'm gonna say Taylor Wan catches a touchdown pass this time.
God no, that's exotic Smash Mouth. Get that out of here.
I'm going. Titans score on their first offensive drive. They score in less than 7 plays, and then on the defensive side of the ball, the defense gets 5+ sacks.
Oh, we were supposed to do a defensive one?
No, I was just going in on there.
Okay, well.
All right, I like it. Those are good. I'm with that. I don't know if Lawan gets a touchdown this year, but
All of it's gonna happen. All of our
everything's
predictions
going to happen on Sunday. All right. Again, follow us on Twitter at Armchair Tighten Up. If you would like to go bet whether it's on the Titans, whether it's the NFL, if you're a fan of another team and you're listening, we appreciate it. Go to MyBookie, use MyBookie, and like I said, if you put in $50, they will give you $50 free, but use the promo code Titans. Signing off, I'm Austin. That's Brett, Noah, my guy Trey. We'll come back with you next week and see what the Titans did. Tighten up.
Tighten up.
And
tighten up.